Hello everybody, welcome to Tarot and the Star. I am your host, Melody. Today we are going to be doing a missing persons ghost box reading. This is going to be on an older case. This is the case of John and Shelly Markley that went missing December 15th, 1995. So let's get into our prayer first with Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, please protect me and my viewers as I conduct this ghost box reading on John and Shelly Markley. Please shield us from negative forces, negative entities, negative beings, demonic forces, demonic entities, demonic beings, and do not allow these things to attach to us or attack us via ghost box. Now, as we watch this or as we watch this in the future, please keep us shielded in white light and protect us. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Amen. Okay, John and Shelly Markley. Very strange case. I saw somebody reporting this before on YouTube, and I think we need to cover this in a ghost box reading because there's no evidence as to what happened to these two. John and Shelly Markley were parents of 5 kids. They went missing on December 15th, 1995 from Bristolville, Ohio. Their doors to their house were unlocked when the kids got home from school, which is very unusual because they're very security prone. John's gun cabinet was left open. They don't know if there's any guns missing because he was selling guns, so they don't know how many guns he sold. And there was a small safe that was open, and they're not sure exactly what was missing because everything was kind of strewn about. There was a coffee pot that was left on, and all the coffee was burned all the way to the end of the pot. It was just sitting there on. Now, the day that they went missing, they went to the bank, obviously, because a bank teller reported seeing Shelly. She came in the bank and she cashed a check for $1,000, and she cashed it out to cash. She signed for it. So when the bank teller kind of looked, she sees that they're in John's truck. John's driving. Shelly is in the middle, and there's an unknown man on the passenger side. She didn't get a good look at the unknown man. Now, John's sister had passed away like 3 days before this. She passed away from cancer, so he was very distraught and upset about it. They were going to go to the funeral that day, later on that day. He never made it to the funeral. They never showed up. Now, the only thing that the police think could have happened, they were looking into it, and he had a guy that he was trying to help out at one point, as a truck driver, because John's a truck driver, and he was trying to help out a old friend of his named Stephen Durst. And Stephen Durst, they had a falling out, and John said he had to go. And he wasn't going to pay Stephen Durst his last paycheck, but Stephen Durst was doing a lot. So John owed him $1,000, which oddly is the same amount of money that Shelly took out of the bank. And this was years before this incident. So Stephen Durst was always, he was somebody that was down on his luck at that time and wasn't working. So, this was difficult for him, not to receive his last paycheck, right? So it could have been that he held a grudge on John wanting his last paycheck. That's possible. Then you have somebody that the police are looking into named Milton Kurtzman, that may know something about this. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to see if we can get any clues from this ghost box reading. I feel that it's so long and there's not really anything really to go off of. So when I look at those two, I really believe when I'm looking at their photo right now, that they believed that they were going to be let go. I'm looking at them and I see two people that are having to do everything frantically, like the coffee pot being left on, somebody rifling through things. I feel like everything was so frantic and quick, and barking of orders. That's what I'm getting, like somebody barking orders. Do I think that they're still with us? I don't feel living energy when I look at them. I don't feel living energy. I feel two people that were in a rush and were being barked orders at and having to do things as quickly as possible so they don't need some type of end, is what I'm getting. That's what I pick up. So let's get into it. Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995 from Bristolville, Ohio. John and Shelly, are you with us today, please? Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995 from Bristolville, Ohio. John and Shelly, can you tell us what happened the day that you went missing and you left the coffee pot on and all the doors open? Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995 from Bristolville, Ohio. John and Shelly, a bank teller reported that you were at the bank. Shelly, you were cashing a check for $1,000. Who are you giving this check to, please? Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995 from Bristolville, Ohio. John and Shelly, I want to try to piece together the events which caused your disappearance. I am doing an interview on you two. And this is for any leads that can help out authorities in your investigation of where you are located right now, as well as trying to provide some information for your children that you left behind. John and Shelly, can you tell me, Shelly, when you walked your child to the bus stop, did you go missing after that? Did somebody show up at the house? Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995 from Bristolville, Ohio. John, how did you get wrapped up in the situation in which you and Shelly went missing? Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995 from Bristolville, Ohio. John, your gun cabinet was left open. Was there any guns that were taken? Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995 from Bristolville, Ohio. John, if guns were taken from your gun cabinet that was left open, were these guns used against you and Shelly, please? Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995 from Bristolville, Ohio. Let me ask you guys another question here. There was a man named Stephen Durst that you helped out a long time ago. Is Stephen Durst involved in your guys' disappearance, please? Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995, from Bristolville, Ohio. John and Shelly is a person named Milton Kurtzman involved. Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995, from Bristolville, Ohio. John and Shelly, did you know that your youngest child at that time, Johnny, just wanted you guys to come home for Christmas? Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995, from Bristolville, Ohio. John and Shelly, your oldest child, Ruthie, wants to know what happened to you two. Spirit guides of John and Shelly Markley that went missing on December 15th, 1995, from Bristolville, Ohio. John and Shelly, do any of you have any final messages that you want to provide to your family or friends or authorities that are looking for you? Thank you so much for coming through, Spirit Guides of John and Shelly Markley. And thank you, John and Shelly Markley, if you came through and you're no longer with us. Thank you for coming through. And thank you, any spirits that came through that wanted to speak on behalf of John and Shelly Markley. Thank you for coming through and speaking on behalf of them. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. We are ending the session with you all now, and we are saying goodbye to you all now. Goodbye. We are ending the session. Goodbye. And for those of you still watching Tarot and the Star, very bizarre. I feel like there was some kind of ending here. That is like what I'm picking up. I don't think, I'm not picking up that these two would have left their 5 kids. I'm not picking that up. I'm not picking up, I feel like what I'm picking up is like it was a casual day, and then this happened quickly. And I think what I'm picking up is like they thought they were gonna get out of it. Well, you know, and somebody was barking orders is what I'm getting, and it's just horrible because their 5 kids have been looking for them for so many years, wondering where their parents were. The kids had to grow up with other family members. You know, to be without the mother and the father, it's just horrible. So hopefully this ghost box provides us some more clues from them or their spirit guides or spirits as to what happened to them. We'll see. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of Tarot and the Star. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe and click on the notifications so you're notified of my upcoming videos. And if you're liking these, thank you so much for liking this. This gets it out into the algorithm for other people to see it. So, you know, anybody that may know what happened to them could provide us some insight on this. And that's always a win-win if they do. So thank you, everybody, for joining me today. I appreciate every single one of you. Until the next one. Bye now.